Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for what's bound to be another great session in association with the Acceleration Summit for Ideagen. My name is Sharan Hildebrand, and I'm Vice President of Alliances for Hitachi Solutions. And today we're going to be joined by an outstanding leader, an amazing guy who has started a wonderful foundation that is focused on enabling that next generation of female leader in Chicago and putting the tools and access to technology in their hands. The conversation is going to be centered around two of the very important 17 UN sustainability goals. Goal number 4, which is quality education, and goal number 5, which is gender equality. So without further ado, I'm anxious to get the conversation started. So please join me in welcoming Ghanimah to the stage.
Hello.
Hi, Ferris. Thank you so much for your time today and joining us.
Oh, of course.
So as head of Central Technology for William Blair, and then also the founder of the WIT mission, I've had the pleasure of working with you both as a client and now as a member of your advisory board, which I'm very grateful for. The story behind what you're doing in Chicago with the WIT mission is compelling, and it's something I'm really anxious for you to share with our audience today. So I'd just like to dive right in, and if you can tell us a little bit about your background, about the WIT mission, its focus, and its the impact that you want to make on the Chicagoland area.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time and the conversation. I've been working in technology in my career for many years, 25 years or more, and I learned a lot throughout the years. And for the last maybe 10 years, I started thinking I really want to do something different. I really want to give back in a certain way. My children were younger, and we had a lot of discussions around how to actually give back, and I always emphasize the importance of that. And early on, I started a small scholarship program at one of our local schools. And while my children were going to actually high school, now my kids are older, graduated, and I kind of stopped doing that until they asked me one day, why did you stop doing that? And one day they were asking, why didn't you get back into that? So, and here I am. A few years ago, that's been happening for a few years, but specifically last year and this year, we founded this WIT mission. You can see us at witmission.org. And the idea there is to really try to close the gender gap in technology careers. So my original engagement with high schools was more around just helping boys and girls who are in need to just go to college, period. But now I'm kind of fine-tuning that kind of mission down to women in technology, because I feel like that will have much bigger impact on that. And I'm really excited about this. I have a good group of people who are supporting me or are excited to be part of it, including yourself, Sharan. So, and really our mission, our drive is to make a change, one girl at a time and one high school at a time. And we'll get there. I don't think it's a simple task, but I think it's a worthy cause to kind of undertake.
The fact that you went off inspiration originally, so first I have to celebrate, just independent of anything, coming up with a scholarship program to help other in need, which is amazing. And then obviously you planted some good seeds with your family. So as a natural leader, and then looking for you to continue with that kind of work really brings this depth and beauty to the story. I wasn't aware of that fact. So thank you so much for sharing. And now being in a position to build the team, build the group, to positively impact and put the tools and means to access technology to high school girls. And is it specific to high school girls to start right now?
Yeah, that's the idea. And we really thought about whether we should focus on middle school or high school or even college. But we felt the high school focus is a good sweet spot. Most students in middle school, they don't know what they want to study and what they want to do when they grow up.
But I still don't know, so I'm still trying to figure.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So we felt like high school, especially upper class students, juniors and seniors, when they start thinking about careers and college, that's the nice spot to kind of start really providing that mentorship opportunity that all young adults or students need. So that's why we want to focus on high school versus middle school. Although that's the current focus, but that doesn't mean we would expand into the future because we need that pipeline, right? At the end of the day, it's not just, students don't just make it in high school on their own. There's a pipeline that needs to kind of feed into that. So at some point we may extend beyond, go earlier, but for now it's high school.
Sure, makes sense. All about the focus. So you've done a great job structuring the program, and there are, I understand, two main ways to get engaged, or there's two separate programs that you offer to young ladies who are interested. Can you tell us a little bit more about the two programs?
Absolutely. So on the programming side, the school side, there are two programs, but they're really part of the same engagement with the students and with the school. So the main piece is for girls to engage and to sign up to be part of this program. So the focus there is on education, awareness, raising the level of knowledge, not just within the student body or the girl student body, but also honestly within the schools. Like the administration and sometimes the counselors may or may not have enough information about what it means to be on a technical track, to go to a techno school or be in a have an IT based career or technology based career. So there's that level of education that we want to engage with schools, counselors, and students to help raise the level of awareness. So and hopefully the girls will pick technology as a track. It's okay to be in IT, and so that's that's the first piece of it. The second piece is in financial in nature. It's one thing to say, okay, now I'm aware and I want to go to pursue a career in technology or go to school for a technology degree, but there may be financial hurdles that prevent some students from doing that. That's where the second part of the program comes in and helps with scholarships that are provided by sponsors, corporate sponsors, and it could be individual donations and sponsors. But our main focus is going to be on corporate sponsorship. So both parts of this program will work hand in hand to, at the end of the day, hopefully increase the number of entrants into college programs coming out of high school. Especially our focus, obviously, is on girls, female, and underrepresented areas, or underrepresented in a diverse segments of our society.
So success is the numbers of women graduating and embracing a career path in technology field. Is that correct?
Absolutely. If you look at the metrics today, if you look at the percentages of females who are graduating in tech degrees out of four-year colleges, it's honestly, it's pretty sad, right? It's, I think, at 21 or 22%. And if you look at the need, there's 57% is really the number of professional women across the board. So they're a pretty nice number. But when it comes to women in technology, that number drops dramatically to 26, 27%. Okay, so we have a lot of way to go to catch up. But when you look at the graduates at 22%, how are we going to ever catch up? And if you even break that down a bit further, the girls who graduate from Hispanic and African American backgrounds, they make up 4% out of that 22%. So, if you look at it, just there's a lot to do here, and we're hoping that we can just be one organization that can help fill that gap and push this cause forward. But more is needed for sure.
The data is staggering and you can't ignore it. So I always like to build numbers into this conversation, even though they're a little deflating. Maybe we can flip that and turn it into motivation to see higher percentages. So given the WIT mission started earlier this year, can you talk about some of the early milestones or goals that you have?
Absolutely. So in my career over the years, I've started multiple like for-profit businesses, and some of them failed, some of them worked okay for a year or two. So this was no different in a way. It's nonprofit, but the initial registration process, you still have to be legit. You got to register with the state and the IRS and all of that. So most of our initial activities were based on that, building the board, right? So we have a really robust board, which, thank you for agreeing to be part of that advisory board as well, Sharon.
Yeah.
And so that's where the initial focus is on the governance side. On the programming side, what we're trying to focus now is to complete the school programming to be ready to launch in the next few weeks, actually, in a couple months in September. So we want to go to a few schools, and we want to launch this program in the schools. And like I mentioned before, we got to do this at a small scope, make improvements, and then move on to the next thing. So, I'm hoping that we can expand this beyond just a few initial schools for this year, maybe into going to CPS and beyond in Chicago. But yeah, that's what our focus is right now.
Okay, crawling before we walk. Absolutely get it. So as far as you mentioned some of the challenges. You mentioned the staggering numbers, the deflated numbers that we see women in corporate America versus women in tech and corporate America. Can you talk more about some of the other problems or challenges that exist when or concerns you might have about introducing young girls now to technology?
Yeah, there are a couple of areas I think are really impacting why we see these numbers are just so low. One, honestly, is this stigma around tech, and that technology or being a technology career is just for boys when they're younger, or just for men, as if it's just a man's world. That's not the case. There's so much more about technology than lifting heavy objects and installing equipment and things like that. That's actually moving away with a lot of the technology moving into the cloud, and there's programming, project management, organizing around tech. So there's more than just you can create the technology, you can teach others how to use it, you can manage it. There's so much more, and a lot of our yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look at yourself. So there's a stigma around that, like gaming, even. It's looked at differently when maybe a girl is having interesting gaming versus a boy. I don't know why. I don't understand that. But so this is kind of one of the major issues, just the stigma associated with it, with technology for females or girls. Second problem, as girls become, young adults, go into college, or even in later in their early careers, lack of mentors. I really think that's another important issue here. Lack of mentorship means lack of knowledge, lack of awareness that you can actually do this too. So an important pillar of our program is not just to provide educational programming and we're going to go to schools and raise awareness, but to also, which is very important, map or assign one female mentor to one female student in high school. So this is important because I feel and mentorship is an important part of this. So this mentorship program that we're going to work on and is going to be part of it. So financial sponsorship is one, but also providing that level of support and guidance and help is important. So these are the 2 points I would say: stigma for technology careers, boys versus girls, and then second, the lack of mentorship.
Okay, makes a ton of sense, and it was on having another conversation earlier today about sustainability, but the same item that Lydia brought up. It takes a village, and you want to, in order to scale, and in order to make sure that you can expand your reach as much as possible and your impact, mentors definitely can accelerate, almost cement that. All right, really, I'm enjoying the conversation, Ferris, and the direction that it's going. People love stories. They love to relate to stories. I'm guaranteed that there's a couple of people out there that would be really interested in a specific story you have that's tied to either your future goal, the WIP mission, or something inspirational from your past and experience you had. So anything that you can share with us.
Yeah, sure. I think I touched upon that early on. really my story and even my inspiration comes, quite frankly, from my children. Okay, so my children, they push me all the time. They challenge me in different ways. They're smart people, and I started talking about that earlier at the dinner table when they were challenging me, like, why am I not doing this again? And now that we're older and we're in college, as if did you do this for us, or I thought you did this for yourself, and that kind of thing. So, and it made me think, like, okay, maybe I do need to get back into this. So I actually started a similar program at my current employer 4 years ago, for like a women in technology program. And one important part of that is an internship offering that we do on an annual basis. So we started a few years back. We started with 4 interns, women interns or students. Um, this year, 2021, we have 19 interns. Last year we had 10. So very exciting, even though we're doing it remote, but it still is having a tremendous impact. Now, here's a fun fact about that. I'm just going to tell you, which it happened during the first year. We got these 4 young women interns. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I had low expectation in terms of what they're going to do and deliver on projects, because what kind of high school, maybe 1 or 2 years after high school, a college student do, you're not too far into it. And honestly, they surprised the heck out of all of us in terms of the projects they worked on, the output that they came up with. I mean, it was completely almost humbling to us to underestimate them. And I admit that. I admitted it to them. But that was definitely a good experience and wake up call, honestly, to me and even other folks, other managers, to say, wow, this program can actually contribute to us. And that's why the program grew over time. So that's one story on the my work. But then back to home, that's where my inspiration comes from. It's my kids. They keep pushing me, and that's why late last year, early this year, started putting the kind of the final pieces on what mission and what we need to do. Spend like probably months thinking of the name. What can the name be? What should our mission be? And you know what? One Sunday morning, I got up and I just flipping through the channels on the news, and it just hit me. It's like, wait a minute, it's with. Why are we trying to change it? Why are we trying to call it something else? It is what it is. It's our women in technology, and it's our mission. It's with mission. The next thing you know, it's with mission.org. So, uh, it's sometimes you get that spark, and I got my spark earlier this year, to finally just take that next step and make this program become a reality. Then started recruiting the board, like I mentioned before. So it's all good. I'm very excited about this. I really think a lot is going to come out of this. So crossing our fingers here, but looking good.
I'm right with you, and all about the energy. And again, as part of your advisory board, I can second everything you're talking about with regards to the positive momentum and the people that are lined up and committed to this. And listening to your story and your inspiration, one person can make a change. 4 to 19 interns in a matter of a couple of years at William Blair. That's tremendous. So last question to wrap up, because I know everyone watching this is inspired and motivated and wants to figure out how they can get involved. What can folks watching this recording right now do to support and get involved with the mission?
Okay, so there's a lot that everybody can do. At least, the least that anybody who's listening to this can do is not only I ask you to open your eyes about the possibility that women and girls can actually have a very successful technology careers. They can be technology visionaries and leaders. So teach your girls, your nieces, your neighbors, bring awareness and attention to this really needed area, and bring focus to it. And if you're interested to do more than just thinking through it with your neighbors and family, please visit our website and engage with us and join us with our mission to truly help and close that gender gap in technology careers. So get to our website. We would love to get your support, whether it's financial or sponsorship or you may be a mentor. Whatever you can do, we can definitely leverage and use you. But again, it all starts at least at home and within your local community and neighborhood.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. And for those of you in the Chicagoland area and even beyond, whitmission.org. Please take the time, check out the website, learn more about what Ferris and team are doing, and feel free to ask questions. And again, your support is invited and welcomed. Thank you so much for your time, Ferris. As always, love working with you, love staying committed to what you're doing and helping you excel and soar. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.